can make your relationship with your in-laws work. I believe that, except your in-laws are like outright witches and wizards, which is not very popular, or they're like really manipulative people. If they're regular people that are tough nuts to crack, with wisdom you can circumvent. I always say that wisdom will always make a way. And so I always advise ladies, humble yourself. Find out what do they like, how does their family work, and then try to fill in that gap. And don't hold all those your this is how I've always done it, this is how I always do it, nobody must ever touch my. I remember when I had my son, and my mother-in-law wanted to bath him with palm oil and something else, and normally I would probably not subscribe to that, but I was like, it doesn't hurt the child. Like, she really just wanted the best for him. It will not hurt the child, nothing would affect him. Like, no problem. I just saw the process starting, and I think for my daughter it even brightened her skin when it happened. So don't hold all those your standards so tight that you can't shift ground. The world is life is easy. You don't stress yourself, and just be wise, be kind to your in-laws, because I think there are very few things that people can refute. You can't show off kindness. Be kind. Always wisdom. Navigate your relationship with them with wisdom. Say the right thing at the right time. Do the right things at the right time. Hold your titles, whatever it is that you are at work. You're a middle level manager, suit manager, whatever. Just leave it at the door. Here, you are their daughter-in-law, you are their son-in-law, and with wisdom you can navigate it. Like, so, except that, well, if they are witches and wizards, that one is prayer and fasting that you use to make you work. But
Extremely important. Extremely important. There's a balance to that also. Like, it's also important to know where to draw the line. Thankfully, I think we have wonderful relationships with our
my mother-in-law
in-laws.
is
My mom is in love with her,
and
and
my
sometimes
father-in-law is
I joke
just too
that
sweet.
they love her more than they love me. All right. And I have a beautiful relationship with her mom also.
Okay.
In fact, I'm tempted to tell the story of our traditional wedding and intro, but we won't go into that. There was some drama and all of that. But we
But just understanding where she came from,
yeah.
because you could have gotten upset, you could have gotten angry, like, what's this woman's problem? Is she trying to make my life difficult? But just understanding that she probably was just afraid, and in her mind that was
So
the way
that's part
to.
of the
Yes,
wisdom in knowing how to
wisdom,
deal, understanding their
their
background, and seeing
background.
that this perspective that they have is
Yeah,
based on the culture,
that where
of
they're
where they're
coming
coming from
from.
and all that. And being smart is extremely key. You don't want to make unnecessary enemies.
Yeah.
Very key. All right. So I think we've talked about 6. The last one I'll talk about is about parenting. Now, a lot can be said about parenting, but this is what I want to dwell on. You can send your children to the best of schools. You can give them the best education. I believe it's important to observe your child and see what their tendencies are. Give them several options, let them express themselves. But I personally think that one of the best things you can do for a child in raising that child is to model pure, unadulterated love to that child. And it's not just in the giving of gifts to the child, but the love that you share with your spouse. And I'll say this is, opening up our home, a bit to you guys, but all right, we are special, so it's worth it. There was a day that my daughter, now she's about 4, our second child, she's about 4. I think she was probably 3 then. And she made a statement, and she does that a lot, that we're just shocked. Everybody freezes and says, did she say that? You're wondering that how can that come from this kind of, if a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old. And one day she said, Mommy, Daddy, I want God to give me my own husband. And we're like, what?
She wasn't even 3 then.
She was not even 3 then. We were in shock. And when she says that you want to know what's going on, in her mind, and we found out that it was simply because she had observed the fact that we show affection towards each other, we're not fighting each other and all that. So the point is this: there are things that you do that you may take for granted when you genuinely love your spouse and you model to them, what true love should be. You model to them what right standard should be. They are watching you, and there is a lot that they are internalizing that you may not be aware of. All right, so it's not enough to get them the best teachers. You are the first teacher. It's not enough, to get them, to have extra lessons. The primary lessons that they learn just by watching you will go farther than any extra lesson that anyone can give. So you need to understand is that when you honor your spouse, when you love your spouse, when you express love, All right. When you show affection, you are modeling and showing them that this is what life should be like. All right. That a woman is not an object to use. All right. That a man is made in the image of God. And that is one of the best gifts and lessons you can give them in parenting.
So I'd also like to say something that we encourage every gifting. We study our children. Like we literally have sometimes when we just talk about, okay, so what do you think about Diolu? What do you think about Lanu? So we study them, see their
and they are
giftings.
very different, both of them.
They're absolutely different, like totally different. And we notice their strengths, we notice their weaknesses, and yes, we invest in a lot of lessons. He was saying it's not about lessons, but we invest in a lot of lessons. So my son is very good with drums. We paid for music school for him. My daughter loves to dance. We got her into ballet. And I noticed my daughter loves languages, so now she's on Yoruba and French.
Science and tech
craft,
for
arts
both of
and
them.
craft. So it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be within your budget. But there's a scripture of that says, "Train up your child in the way you should go." There's a version that says, "Train them along their natural bent, along their natural abilities," and so help them hone their strengths and find out what are these children good at and help them. My son now is in love with baking, so all we do is he'll go on YouTube, watch recipes, and we'll go into the kitchen with adult supervision and he'll produce it. He'll have epic fails. That's part of life. He'll learn lessons, but encourage them. It shouldn't just be about academics, going to school and all, but help them to be wholesome children. Let them play outside. We had to get sand into the compound at a point. Like we got my gate man, we went to ship sand from a building site into the compound once just so that they could play. So help them to have a wholesome childhood. It's not about the toys that you buy. I even realized that the fewer toys they have, the better for them, because then they can they can express themselves, they can be innovative in play, and so just help them along their natural bent. Don't beat down a child that, can't you see your sister is like this, why can't you be like that? He's different, he has strengths. My son is very emotional, he's very intuitive, he's the one that would come and touch you and ask you how you're doing. My daughter is no nonsense, like, please, let's move on, life is moving quickly and all. So help them find their strengths and their weaknesses, and be kind to your children also. That's very important. Being kind to them helps also. So on their skills.
I'm sure you can see already that she's an excellent parent. I hope you guys have learned one or two things. Yeah. So we had fun sharing 7 lessons we've learned in our 7 years of marriage. Hope you had fun too. Until we meet again.
Hope that's soon.
I hope so too. Love you guys.
The Family Life Doctor.
Bye.